Hethersett, midway between Reigate and Red Hill, is a new departure in blind education. It was opened in 1956 by the RNIB at the invitation of the Ministry of Education. A government working party had suggested that opportunities for blind people in open industry had expanded so much that blind adolescents were not always aware of, or prepared for, the wide range of occupations they could now choose from. Hethersett was the answer, a new type of residential centre, owing allegiance neither to existing schools nor to sheltered workshops. Boys and girls normally come here at 16 after leaving school for a course of anything from 3 months to 2 years. The centre has 3 aims: to assess a student's interests and abilities, to guide him towards suitable training and employment, and to equip him to take his place in the community. The curriculum has a wide range of courses, from traditional crafts to light engineering and assembly work. But they are for assessment and guidance only, and are not intended as complete vocational training. Once a career is selected, and Hetherssett's other aims have been achieved, a suitable student may go on to learn his job at the Government Training Centre at Letchworth, a workshop for the blind, or elsewhere. Hethersett, therefore, is a decisive phase in a blind youngster's life, and to ensure that each student gets the individual attention and consideration he needs, there are only 25 students in residence at any time. No student is hurried. He's given plenty of opportunity to explore the different ways in which men and women earn their living, to gain a more mature idea of what occupations are available and suited to their own abilities, and, with the help of experts in vocational guidance, to make a well-informed and deliberate choice. Though Hetherssett's large rooms have been converted into workshops, the house is still small enough to retain the atmosphere of a single household, which is essential to the whole experiment. Conditions at Hethersett are deliberately kept nearer to those of sighted adult life than is possible in a residential school for the blind. This is a great help to students in attaining maturity of outlook, and that is the most important fundamental of all Hetherssett's aims. Hethersett is, in a very real sense, a finishing school. Any training centre with competent staff and proper equipment can teach a human being his job. But teaching him how to choose the right job, how to be happy in it, how to develop his capabilities to the full, how, in fact, to be a human being, that is another problem altogether. And Hethersett is proud of its contribution to the solving of that problem. Other aspects of daily life are given equal importance in the Hethersett curriculum. Odd jobs about the house, simple cooking, personal problems, cleanliness, appearance, and dress. In fact, everything that will help a boy or girl to live as an acceptable member of normal society. Blind youngsters grow up and marry like any others. But because they cannot see their own homes, that is no reason why their homes should not be beautiful and efficiently run. Adolescence is a difficult time for anybody, and for the blind, particularly so. The problems of growth, of the change between school and work, often of living away from the family and familiar surroundings. Also, blind youngsters must find their feet in a sighted world at a time in their lives when their independence is of tremendous importance to them. Hethersett aims to help this adjustment in all possible ways, without embittering the individual or falling short of that ideal of independence. Mixing with sighted people of their own age, and other ages, occupies a good deal of the Hethersett students' time. They're encouraged to join local youth activities of all kinds, and to go to them unescorted. Getting about on foot, by bus and by train, is an important item in the Hethersett curriculum. This deliberate mixing with sighted young people has a twofold purpose. It helps towards maturity, the goal of adolescence, and it provides experience which will be useful in making social contacts when students have finished training and started work. Besides, not to get too solemn about it, it's good fun. And a blind teenager is a human being, not a guinea pig for social experimenters. Anyone who forgets that would do better to find some other outlet for his zeal. Join a youth club himself, perhaps, and learn some common sense. In Pembridge Place, near the West End of London, 50 students a year are trained to a high standard as telephonists, as shorthand typists, or, if they have difficulty in reading Braille, as typists using recording machines. And only those who have worked with blind telephonists or secretaries know how astonishingly high that standard can be. The college caters both for blinded adolescents straight from school or from Hethersett, and for adults who have recently become blind. In both cases, the college's purpose is the same, to enable them to earn their own living as fully self-reliant workers in competitive industry.
RNIB, Pembridge Place.
Oh, can I speak to Mr. Dolan, please?
I'm sorry, Mr. Dolan isn't available. I'll put you through to his secretary.
Oh, thank you very much.
Incidentally, the blind teenagers and newly blinded adults who study at Pembridge Place have proved to be of great help to each other. The adults, not yet perhaps fully recovered from a sense of disaster, draw inspiration from the teenagers' ability to read Braille fluently and to find their way about. The youngsters, in their turn, better trained at being blind but new to the grown-up world, learn much practical wisdom from their adult fellow students. And for each of them, at this particular stage in their lives, those respective needs are especially important.
Harry, return.
Typewriters and telephone switchboards for the blind are standard office equipment with few modifications. But a Braille shorthand machine is specially designed. It writes on a paper strip, one roll of which is enough for many hours' dictation. Over 1,000 contractions have been derived from the 6 dots of the unit Braille cell to form a shorthand system which can be written at 100 to 120 words a minute. The machine is light and compact, and its noise is quite unobtrusive. Blind shorthand writers have a reputation for accuracy, and some of them travel unescorted to international conferences on the continent. So the Royal National Institute for the Blind, through its various schools and training centres, helps blind students at every stage of their progress. At the Institute's headquarters in Great Portland Street, London, there is yet another facility, a Braille Library for students. The Institute produces most of the 600,000 Braille volumes which are published in Britain every year. Only a fraction of them can be kept in the student's library, of course, because Braille books are bulky. The Bible, for example, needs about 75 volumes. But any book a student needs can be quickly obtained. Also in Great Portland Street is the Blind School of Physiotherapy, where students receive 3 years' training entirely comparable with that of sighted students in a worthwhile and highly skilled profession. At the end of the 3 years, they sit for the final examination of the Chartered Society of Physiotherapists, and on passing, they become registered members of the society, entitled to work either privately or in the National Health Service. Students and staff include those blind from birth and also the newly blind, for whom physiotherapy as a profession may be an entirely new pattern of living. The students come from all over the world because the school enjoys an international reputation. At present, there are students here from the West Indies, South Africa, New Zealand and Australia, among other places. In the gymnasium, students are learning how to train patients in the use of crutches and how to teach them the various kinds of exercise which form a large part of the physiotherapeutic treatment. The students' work is not confined to Great Portland Street. After intensive practice on each other, they gain experience in several of the main London hospitals under the supervision of the school staff. Practical subjects, which include massage, exercises, and electrotherapy, begin in the first week of training, as well as theoretical work in anatomy, physiology, and physics. The students must also have a sound general knowledge of the medical and surgical conditions for which physiotherapy is likely to be ordered. In addition, they gain experience of nursing procedure on the hospital wards during the first part of their training. The very existence of the School of Physiotherapy is a tribute to Britain's system of blind education. For although other countries have similar schools, in none of them is the training so comprehensive. And this is partly because the British system produces enough educated blind people to make it worthwhile. But we must not give the impression that blind youngsters of high intelligence have no other professions to choose from. Oxford, Reading, London, Birmingham, Sheffield and Swansea universities have all admitted blind students in recent years, and they have been able to give a very good account of themselves, working side by side with their sighted fellow students. Most of them, of course, have come from Worcester or Chorley Wood, and the old boys of Worcester alone include solicitors, clergymen, schoolmasters, farmers, civil servants and businessmen. As wide a range of professions calling for high intelligence as you could wish for. The blind student may have a sighted tutor, and the sighted student may have a blind tutor. For it is not only as students that blind people come to Britain's universities. The tutor here is Dr ARN Cross, Fellow and Tutor-in-Law at Magdalen College, Oxford, an old boy of Worcester, an Oxford graduate himself, and a qualified solicitor. He was the first blind man to become Doctor of Civil Law since 1884. Mr. Theodore H Tyler, seen here with the Master of Balliol, is also blind. Mr. Tyler is a fellow, tutor, and estates bursar of Balliol, and a university lecturer in common law. He keeps the Balliol accounts in Braille. He is also a British chess master and a high-ranking bridge player. But by now, our point is made, that there is no inherent reason why a blind person cannot rise to the top of his chosen tree. Not everyone wants to be a university lecturer or a member of Parliament. The one thing we all, blind or sighted, do want is to be a fully developed human being with a place in society. Helping us to reach that goal is the purpose of education. Blind education has fulfilled its purpose when it makes the blind man feel that he too is one of us.